Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. So, for those of you who watched last week's video, I was talking about the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over again and expecting change. Well, today we're going to kind of touch on that topic, but a slightly different angle. So, I'm going to ask you this. Are you having a hard time changing habits? Are you having a hard time pursuing new things? Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. We're all in the same boat, and Lord knows I've had to overcome many, but I still have a few. But I want to touch on the topic of neuroplasticity and perhaps why it might be keeping you stuck. So let's consult Google here for a second. So basically, neuroplasticity is neural pathways. So basically, habits are formed through the strengthening of neural pathways in the brain, particularly in the basal ganglia, as repeated behaviors lead to the automatic execution of actions triggered by specific cues. So basically, you follow through on actions based off of memory. Our brain doesn't like to work any harder than it has to. This is why we often work on autopilot, right? Our brain recognizes certain things and it just automatically executes. It always does the same thing over and over and over again. This is why habits are so difficult to overcome. But if these neural pathways were created because of conditionings, because of, that repetition, can't you create new ones? Absolutely. So it says, each time the new behavior is performed, the neural pathway associated with it strengthened, eventually making it automatic as the old habit. So basically, it's saying old dogs can learn new tricks. So I'm going to just show you, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about limiting beliefs. So for myself, one of my biggest ones was being athletic. Now, I grew up in the bush. So let's just be very honest, there weren't a whole lot of opportunities when it came to sports or any kind of extracurricular activities. I spent a lot of time doing creative things like drawing and painting and photography and research. I read a lot because I just didn't have those exposures. Now, it wasn't until I started this fundraiser when it came, for the half marathon training that I really realized that, maybe I can be athletic. And so with every week, I just reinforced that thought. And then until I finally ran my half marathon. And now I'm contemplating, well, if I can run a half marathon, then maybe I can run a full. Now, I know I'm not there. I'm still working through my injury, but it certainly adds to the thought, the curiosity. Now, what if you don't know what your limiting beliefs are? I have created this PDF where I give a slew of examples to perhaps jog your memory on various topics. And I actually broke them down into two categories: limiting beliefs that we put on ourselves and perhaps limiting beliefs that we're taught by our environment, whether that's our family, our religion, our culture. So I'll link all of this in the description line below, but I have kind of a tool here that I've created to help you overcome or recognize your limiting beliefs. So let's just go over the 5 steps. So step 1, identify the limiting belief. Write down negative thoughts that hold you back. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it true? It's about challenging our thoughts. What I'm saying to myself, is it true? If I tell myself I'm not good enough, is it true? Well, I'm here to tell you, and there's a quote here, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. If you keep telling yourself the same thing over and over and over again, you're right. You're never going to challenge that thought. So, with this portion of the exercise, ask yourself, is it true? And write it down. Explore it. Step 2, find evidence that contradict these thoughts. Ask, what would I tell a friend if they had this belief? And I know myself, I can tell myself the silliest things, and a week later, a coworker approaches me and says the same thing, but about themselves. Well, the tone is certainly going to be a lot different from what I tell myself versus what I tell them. You're going to try to be compassionate, and you're going to try to tell them, well, no, you're being silly. And you're going to reaffirm why they're being silly. So why can't you do that to yourself, right? So you have to look at it in a way where you're removing yourself from the situation, and how would you explain it to someone else? Okay. Now, step 3, reframe the belief. Turn it into an empowering belief. Example, instead of I'm not good at public speaking, say I'm improving my public speaking skills every time I practice. Well, here I am, right? That was one of my biggest challenges, is to speak on camera and then put myself out there. Do you know how awkward it is to be looking at yourself in the screen and not stutter? Every single week I come back and I practice because that's what it's all about. So just reframe the way that you're thinking about it. I may not be the greatest right now, but I'll continue working on it, and with every week I will get better. Okay, and now step 4, take action to reinforce the new belief. Start small, take actions that support your new beliefs. Surround yourself with people who uplift and challenge you. But I encourage you to write down your action plan. Journal it. Really try to envision it. I do think that this is really important, but keep yourself accountable to this action plan. And then now step 5, repeat and reinforce. Affirm your new beliefs daily. Celebrate small wins that prove your belief is changing. Write it in a journal. Try express how these wins make you feel. By exploring the feelings of the wins will help solidify your actions. It goes right back to that neuroplasticity. The more you do it, it creates new habits and new neural pathways. It is so unbelievably important to remove your roadblocks if you want to create any kind of change in life. But I'm here to tell you, you can 100% do it. I am going to link the PDF down in the description below, and I encourage you to sit down and explore, because it is time to move forward and take that next step in what you believe in. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.